Okay, so we're checking out this one. I fell in love with my psychiatrist. Sounds like it'll be good. Haven't seen it.
Hello. Ooh.
I think my biggest pet peeve in life is when influencers say that they work hard. My second biggest pet peeve is that
hard.
sometimes it's true because I feel that I work harder than any coder at TikTok. Here's the thing about me. I go into phases on TikTok where I become obsessed with whatever niche fucking subject. Like I will have like a week of the month where everything on my FYP is just like scattered. And then they'll feed me some niche content that I tunnel vision.
And then I love
anything outside of that, I won't even click on. I rebuild my For You page every 3 weeks. Every 2 to 3 weeks, it's a completely
Cat
different
videos,
FYP.
cooking
And I
videos.
was deep in my dark mafia romance era. I'm a firm believer on the idea that for every word that you read with your retinas, for every word of dark mafia romance that your photoreceptors intake through your eyeballs, your brain chemistry changes. And it creates this little lag in the brain. If your name is a variation of Nikolai, Dante, Roman, I read every book on the market about you. I probably read every single written word about you. And now my FYP for like 4 weeks straight was like the most unhinged dark mafia romance settings. It's like,
when you've been kidnapped by your future husband and he chains you up in the basement, but then he like gives you an extra serving of meal because you like your ass
Shades of Grey.
And it's just like, I'm eating it up, right?
I thought you were reading an NBA player right now.
Oh yeah, no, I've cleansed my soul, and now I'm just back to like regular smut. Okay. Because sometimes the dark mafia romance gets a little unhinged. Like at some point you gotta be like, I just don't think it's realistic that he got shot at 100 times, but he's still making out with you while there's like bullets flying slow-mo in the air. You know what? I'm gonna get back to dark mafia romance. Just kidding. I need you to understand the phase of my life that I was in. I'm scrolling through all these dark mafia settings. Everything is dark and twisted. Everything is a new setting. It's like, if you like the idea of being chained up, then you must read this book. Here comes my surprise. When I get a new TikTok, I swipe, and there's this lady on my screen that's like, I fell in love with my psychiatrist, and he knew it. And he kept me until I had the strength to leave for 4 years. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Used you for money.
I fell in love with my psychiatrist, and he knew, and he kept me until I had the strength to leave after 4 years.
It's not dark mafia romance. This is a real lady. This is real life, and this is how I transitioned from my amazing fictional dark mafia FYP to a lady named Kendra. All I know on TikTok is this woman named Kendra now. Kendra is everywhere. Kendra won't leave me alone. Let me tell you about Kendra. Kendra has a 9,000 part series about her psychiatrist that has gone on for so long now. Every time I click my TikTok app,
what if it's just like her own?
I'm a board certified psychiatrist. I feel drained. I feel like I get on TikTok, Kendra shows up, I've clocked into work as the mental health professional. I'm on the clock. Her problems are my problems.
Psychiatrist came back.
Her problems are the world's problems. I've neglected my own life for Kendra's life. Kendra starts off, part 1, giving us the context. And like, I'm going to walk you through my spiritual journey of watching Kendra's, some people call it a spiraling, some people call it
So I've seen some people reacting to it, right? I don't know this full story. I saw a little bit.
Hi.
But this was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is it still going on today?
It's still going on.
Okay, so she's actively posting as we speak.
Yeah, and if it's over, what else is there? Because I have genuinely, I don't know how to rebuild my TikTok FYP. Like, I get on there, I'm drained because like the first 5 videos, I swear if I open this app right now, it's going to be Kendra. It's going to be about Kendra. Kendra's going to be live. Kendra's going to be talking to Henry. Yeah, there's lots of people involved now. Oh, you're about to find out who the fuck Henry is.
Drama.
Because once you find out who Henry is, you'll never go back to who you were before. Kendra starts off part 1, giving us context, and I need you to go on this journey with me, even if you know a little bit about it. All I knew is that I opened up the comments, and some people were like, oh my god, this is the new Who the Fuck Did I Marry series, but it's like, Who the Fuck Is My Psychiatrist series? So I'm like, okay, I'm gearing up. I might as well get my notepad ready. Kendra has ADHD. Kendra's like a little white lady. Okay, so this is kind of important for later. And she's got ADHD. She decides after years of being off meds, she's going to get back on meds.
How old is she?
I would say like late 30s.
Okay.
And she books an appointment with a psychiatrist. Literally just Googles the first one that pops up. Books the appointment. It's a telehealth Zoom call.
I decided to make an appointment with a psychiatrist.
Telehealth.
I just Googled psychiatry in the city that I lived in, and I went with the first one that came up.
And when you're a new patient, they usually do like a 90-minute intake, which like, okay, to give you context for people who are mentally sound, who have never had the privilege of fighting demons in here day and night, therapists, you're typically going to them for counseling, therapy. They're like reoccurring appointments every Tuesday.
More like for medicine for psychiatrists.
I got a doctor's appointment on Thursday. Whatever your heart desires to call it, that's therapy. You go there, you sit down, and you say, hey, listen.
Psychologist and...
So some went down this week, and I feel kind of stressed about it. I feel anxious, and I did that thing that you told me to do. But I'm having a mental breakdown. That's what you do. It's primarily talking. You do like cognitive behavioral therapy, stuff like that. It's amazing. Then you have psychologists. That's usually what we talk about on Rotten Mango. Okay, so to my knowledge, most of the time they don't do weekly sessions. I'm sure some of them do, but they're mainly there to offer detailed assessments and offer comprehensive psychological testing. So you go there and maybe you're with them for like 3 weeks, like 3 appointments over the span of 3 weeks to go through intensive testing. They study and observe your behavior. Like you're not really just sitting there the whole time. And then you're like, okay, see you next Tuesday. Mm-hmm. They'll work on criminal cases to assess and observe the defendant. It's not like you go to jail for talk therapy.
I feel like she's given like a job career. This is what you have to do. This is your pay range.
I feel like I can say this because my sister is a pharmacist. They're like legal dealers. That's what they call them. Okay. I mean, that's what pharmacists are. They're like, you got the street dealers and then you got the legal dealers. They're prescribing you meds. They prescribe you psychiatric meds. You see them like 15 minutes of a month and they monitor your dosage. They don't ask about ADHD. They don't ask about your relationship. They don't ask about your parents. They don't ask about your childhood trauma. I mean, sometimes they might if it's relevant or if you're trauma dumping on them. But usually the Zoom call goes something like this. Hey, how are you? So how do you feel? How have you been? How are things?
Med's still good.
And how's sleeping these days? Like, is sleep still good? Has that gotten fixed? We changed your dosage, right? You're like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good. So same CVS? Yeah, thanks. And then you hang up.
And that's who she's talking about?
That's the psychiatrist.
Oh
she's not even talking about her therapist.
Oh.
Right?
I mean, I guess you could tell them your life
and
story,
it's
but like truly, they're in and out of that telehealth session. They're
medicine.
Like 15 minutes in, 15 minutes out. They
if you don't need medicine,
you
don't go to
life, really. I mean, they know some things like I got anxiety, but they don't really know anything else about my life. She does the intake. First appointment with the doctor. She's like, okay, I notice a few things. First of all, smoking hot. He's
oh my goodness.
And this man is my age, and I can't help but notice that he's pretty attractive, this psychiatrist.
Hot, okay? And I'm like, you know what? At this point, I don't know anything about Kendra. I'm like, okay, I mean, you're brutally honest, and I like it. Like, tell me what's going on. And she's like, he's hot. He's my age.
He gives me
attractive.
Is she single?
She's on and off single. Kendra is
odd.
Kendra's a whirlwind. So she's like, but when I tell you that I've had a lot of couch time in my life, a lot of therapy, and I'm like, that's fine, me too, okay? I just went right into it. I trusted him enough. Of course, why wouldn't I tell him about my childhood trauma, my daddy issues, if you will?
To tell him about my childhood trauma, my daddy issues, if you will.
And I was like, I don't know, Kendra. I feel like that's not really what you do with psychiatrists, but that's fine. She's like, what I went through of all that relationship trauma that I had, I was 6 months sober at this time, but all the drinking,
psychiatrist, this is unusual.
Substance use that I used to do, and he just like listened and nodded. And I'm like, I don't know why you're telling your psychiatrist this, but it's actually like very professional that he's listening and nodding. I feel like my psychiatrist would be like, oh yeah, okay, well,
see you in 3 months.
Appointment's coming up.
Yeah, so let me know if you're still shitting. I'll see you next month. Okay, like that's pretty much what he would do. But like he's listening, he's nodding, he's ever professional. And like that's the thing with psychiatrists. They're still mental health professionals at the end of the day. They're doctors. Like they have to be good at listening to their patients. Like they're gonna be connected to you.
They want
and
that
she's
paycheck.
Like, exactly. He was connected.
He was doing his job. Oh, you don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this. Skippity skip.
That they're good at pretending to listen. They can appear connected, but that doesn't mean that they're always
Most
connected.
aren't invested.
So I just felt really seen.
So I felt really seen. And I told him, I was like, look, I don't want to be on stimulant meds. And so you know what he did? She's like, he fucking listened. He put me on like a low dose non-stimulant ADHD
that sounds
med.
like a good
and at
psychiatrist.
this point, I'm like waiting for the shoe to drop. And I feel like this is going to become a reoccurring thing. I keep watching, I don't know, 9 gajillion parts of this, waiting for Kendra to be like, that was the moment, Kendra. Like, I see your vision, Kendra. I see and I feel what you felt. And I'm like, maybe this is the time. And she's like, so he did exactly what I asked him to do, like a doctor. And he just made me feel seen. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Maybe she was just treated really bad
send him
before
pictures?
this.
Like, were you naked?
This is just
like,
normal.
What do you mean seen? Like, this feels normal.
This
and then she's like, he just like cracked jokes, and he was impressed with the running that I do.
He did some great jokes.
Really funny.
My mom beat me
jokes too. And told me he was impressed with my running that I would do.
The running?
Yeah, so I guess she would make small talk in the beginning of every appointment. Like,
every day.
Zoom call telehealth. You're like,
how you doing?
She's running out there?
Yeah, she's like marathoning. And then, the doctor's like, what have you been up to? And you go,
running.
Nothing, but I can't say nothing.
Running from the demons.
I mean, you're my mental health professional, so like I'm just gonna say pickleball. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. So she's like, I'm running. So he's like, oh yeah, that's impressive. Small talk. Maybe I'm missing something.
He really wants to be a runner.
I feel like I must be, because if you're gonna levy accusations like this against a mental health professional, like a doctor, you gotta give us something, because these are public accusations. And she keeps telling us. She keeps interrupting her story to be like, I am doing this to help you and other people. I would really like to discuss what happens when we fall in love with our mental health professionals. And most importantly, the fact that there are so many people, especially men, that are emotionally dead inside, that feel called to go into psychiatry and therapy so they don't have to feel their feelings, but they can feed off of the vulnerability of their mostly female patients. And this is where I started getting a little bit stressed. Because I'm like, okay, this might make it harder for people to reach out to mental health professionals, but like, it's fine. Okay, let's see what she has to say. And Kendra says that at this point, she starts getting addicted to her psychiatrist. And at one point early on in their sessions, like this is like what, the 3rd session in? So like 3 months in, she's probably talked to this guy for what, collectively 2 hours, because the 90-minute intake.
Yeah.
And she asks him, hey, do you mind if I call you by your first name?
And It was in my 3rd session with him, because at this point we were all on Zoom, that I asked him, I said, hey, do you mind if I call you by your first name? First name.
Okay.
That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. Like, what? And she's like, he's Pakistani. So I said his first name wrong. And he's like, well, it's pronounced this, but yeah, of course you can.
And he seemed so smug and happy with himself.
And I'm like, again, I'm not in the room, so like maybe I'm not seeing what she's seeing, but she's not doing a good job communicating that to us. Like, she doesn't
What if all the signals aren't
how he
what
felt
she
so
thinks?
smug and happy with himself. Like, maybe he felt
Being
smug
polite.
that he corrected your ass on how to pronounce his name. I don't know, okay? But she's like,
that was his first sign that him pretending like we're friends was working.
Wait.
Can you imagine if a guy said all this?
To call him by his first name.
Yeah, and like if
I
you're
knew
confused,
she liked
I feel
me.
like I was confused for like the first 10 parts of her 25 million part series, because the first 10 parts I'm still like, wait, am I missing context? Because she keeps saying like he's a predator, he was grooming me, like he was doing this, he fell in love with me,
I feel like
he
she's
wanted
grooming
me,
him.
he was like
He's
manipulating
at
me,
his
he was
job.
taking
She
advantage
came
of me.
there.
And then I'm like, wait, where is the part where you tell me he took advantage of you? And she's like, basically he wanted me to call him by his first name. I was the one that asked.
He's abusive because he wanted
like,
me back.
I mean, it would be rude to say,
it's very
no,
impressionable.
call me doctor. I went to med school and you didn't, low life. Like, that'd be kind of rude, you know? So far, I'm only seeing very normal professional interactions. Maybe I'm just not there yet. And so I have slight reservations, but people pick up on vibes and then cannot express the vibes in words. And sometimes they come off as insane.
So like when she first started talking about this, right, first few parts, I think that's immediately it went viral, right?
Yes.
Like everyone was talking about it because it does sound kind of like crazy. It could be true, and that would be insane.
I think, okay, initially when it went viral, it's like the first few parts, she spends a lot of time talking about the encapsulation of all of the feelings. She's like, he's a predator in the medical field. This happens a lot. I've talked to a lot of people. Lots of mental health male providers are feeding off of female vulnerability. They're sickos in the head.
I really wonder about that.
A lot of the discourse was that. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, I could see that. Like, I can see that. And then some people are like, oh, I've heard of a story where this has happened before. And so everyone's kind of agreeing. And they're like, wait, tell us your story, Kendra. Like, tell us what happened to you and your psychiatrist. And then she's like, he manipulated me. He was a predator. He wanted me to call him by his first name. And so then people are like, okay, well, that's not crazy, but maybe we're like, she's melting the ice.
Is she forgetting
We're going to get there
said?
slowly. So there's another part and then another part. And I'm like, give Kendra time to cook. We don't know what Kendra's got going on. Let her tell us what happened. Now, side note, she does later say it kind of probably was not the best idea to call him by his first name, she says.
And to be fair to me, I had only ever been to therapy before. I didn't realize that, it's important to call your doctor last name. I mean, I did know that. I did it with all my other doctors, but it just showed that the boundaries were blurring, and he liked that.
And I'm like,
he liked that,
Kendra,
even though he didn't voice
lose me a little bit, but I'm still here, and I'm still listening.
Keep listening to the crazy.
Right?
What next?
For you. And she's explaining. After that, she starts calling him by his first name in the sessions, and he's just cranking up the heat, making them friendlier and friendlier in each session.
Smile when you say my name.
What happened? She's like, he would ask me, "How's your bowels?"
And then he just started turning up the volume on us being friendly. He would ask me after the meds, he said, how's your bowels, bladder, and appetite? And I would say they're all normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Was like, ooh, my bowel.
Yeah. And
making sure you don't get diarrhea from the medicine.
Professional is asking if you're okay. Like, I would hardly call that first date material. He's asking.
But what did she say?
Well, the other guys were
okay,
into
so she's basically
my bowel
like,
movements.
this is where it gets a little crazy. She's saying that he would ask if she has thoughts of self-injuring. Which is a big thing, especially if you're starting new medications and specific medications.
Question.
And she was just like, I was special to him.
And then on our 6th session, when things were really, the chemistry was starting to be there before, like, I didn't realize it. I was like, oh, this man is just friendly. He said, I have to ask this because it's a special interest of mine. But is there any thoughts of harm? Like, I was special to him.
That's literally what she says.
I wonder if he actually said that.
Yeah, like he asked.
That's kind of odd.
And it was like, I was special to him. And I'm like,
okay. That's crazy.
I'm starting to get very stressed right now because like this. Anyway, if you guys have been also lucky like me to be blessed with genetic issues up here, okay, and you've had countless psychiatry appointments, this is so run-of-the-mill stuff. It's just like, what's your name? What's your date of birth? Hey, are you
never
okay?
thought about
like, that's it.
ending your life.
And she's
Good,
I
good.
was special to him.
It's working.
So he would ask about her appetite, her bladder, all of these things, because those are the things that he needs to ask for. And this is the one part of the conversation where listen, I say this with alarming eyesight. Anytime I take off my contacts during the eye exam, I don't know who the doctor is. I can't tell you. I can't see you. There is one test I will fail every single time. It's the eye exam. So I say this with bad eyesight, but she's wearing these giant tortoise shell eyeglasses. But the lenses, I swear, they be so thick because they warp her eyes. And she just looks very intense at times. And she says, are there any, he asked me, are there any thoughts of harm? I was special to him. It's like someone on a medical form asking if you're pregnant. It's not suggestive. They're not saying, can I impregnate you? If not, it's just like, are you pregnant? But Kendra is like, no, this doctor wants my children. Okay. And I keep waiting again for the part. So I keep watching. She says that every appointment that she would go to, he would have this like miltang situation. Miltang in Korean is like push and pull, where on certain appointments, he would be very friendly. They would have so much small talk. And she makes it very clear to everybody right off the bat. And like Kendra is brutally honest, if anything. And she says at no point did he ever cross any professional boundaries.
You don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this. Skippity skip.
Was good at anything, it was being professional and acting professional. And technically not crossing any lines. And he thought that he was so good at it, because he was good at it.
He thought he was so good.
He wasn't doing it.
So I'm like, okay, what's happening then? And then so she's like, he was never unprofessional with me, but he was very
But he wanted
funny.
me.
He would crack jokes. He was very funny. He was very witty. And I started gaining more and more respect for him. He would tell me about all of these professional accolades that he had. Now, I don't know because I wasn't in these telehealth sessions, but I imagine he probably like had his fucking degrees in the back.
Right.
And then like, you know, sometimes you're like, hey, what's that?
My master's, my doctor's.
I was on a video call with someone really important. I don't know who set this up. I don't know why they let me. And he was telling me, this is like a very established filmmaker. And he was telling me about how his kids play basketball and how he loves his kids. And his kids are like, I don't know, in middle school. And
you want to be their
sitting in front of this bookshelf with all these trophies. And I'm like, oh my God, is that your kid's trophy? He's like, actually, that's my Emmy that I won for my documentary. And I was like, oh. So
you see the red sign behind Stephanie?
This is an Oscar, okay?
We found that in a thrift shop.
Yeah, like it was really bad. Yeah, and that's the vibe that Kendra's giving me. It's like he probably had his things, and then she's like, "What's that?" And he's like,
"What's that?
Oh yeah,
What's
that was
that?
when I graduated, and this is Anyway,
right.
Or he's probably like, "Hey, just to give you a background on what I specialize in, like these are the things that I've been doing, and so." That's my background. You can feel safe around me. I've got lots of experience treating people, patients like you. Don't worry, you're in good hands. And she's like, no, he's fucking bragging to me like he's showing off. And she said it made me fall for him, honestly. Yeah, no. And still, I'm like, Kendra, I'm here with you. Like, I got you. Like, just tell me if anyone is going to believe a male in a position of power abused his power, it's going to be TikTok. It's going to be us. I'm your target audience. Tell me what happened, Kendi. Tell me, Kendra. But she's like, no, he was really good at listening. I mean, he's a Pisces, right?
So I was seeing him every month and just gaining more and more respect for him because he would just tell me these little things about his successes and just all of the cool things that he was doing in his life. And it made me fall for him, honestly. And he was really good at listening. And I mean, he's a Pisces, right? So of course he's going to be there and be able to go deep with my feelings, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't extracting from them.
And everyone's like,
how did she find out about that?
Every psychiatrist
oh
is
my
a
gosh,
Pisces.
that's true. That is weird.
I mean, how do you know your doctor's birthday?
That's true. So either she asked or she looked it up.
Yeah.
Or
that's
somewhere
weird.
behind it.
Equally alarming.
Yeah.
Equally alarming.
Or maybe they just like, what's your sign? What about you? Type of thing.
I've never had a doctor ask me what's my sign.
I know.
She probably just looked it up. She's crazy.
Yeah. Which is also
Google
weird.
them.
That's weird, yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, maybe small talk, maybe.
I mean,
went on his Facebook.
I will ask anyone what their MBTI is. I'm not going to ask my psychiatrist what his MBTI is.
I have to know.
That's crazy, okay? But she's like, I mean, he's a Pisces, right?
And what does that mean?
He's good at listening.
He listens.
All the comments, all my astrology girlies in the comments are like, girl, he's a psychiatrist. Like,
right.
I know we love our fucking like star placements, but that's literally his job.
Yeah.
I also see a lot of discourse of girls being like, see guys, there is hope. Like the bar is so low, y'all.
Right.
Like, just listen. That's all women want, it appears.
That's what I was thinking.
Listen.
Like she must have been.
So she's like, he's really good at
before.
listening. And at
He's
this
just
point,
doing
I think people
basic
are
stuff
like
right here.
confused. This is at the point where I'm like confused. I want to say I was slightly entertained at this point. The slightly
You have to keep
entertainment
watching.
goes
It's
away
crazy.
and it becomes slightly alarming. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. It's like saying he's an accountant. He's good at math, but also he's a Virgo. So I'm like,
especially good at math for me.
Okay, you're losing us. So she's explaining how she's falling for him. And then each part is very lengthy. And each part she's giving us tiny little kibbles, crumbs of information.
I still feel like she's making it up.
Then at my next appointment, he told me about his accomplishments and I started falling for him. And then it's like a 3-minute tangent about how he's a predator. and like how this is not okay, and she was manipulated for years, and it's just like, okay, so these are like very big accusations we're going back to, but then all we have so far are these like little crumbs that she's giving us, and we're like trying to see where the accusations and the crumbs fit, because she's telling us it's a giant cookie this big, but we only have crumbs enough not even fit my fingernail. So I'm like, when are we gonna get the rest of the pieces of the cookie to make this make sense? And she's like, don't worry, I'm gonna give it to you in parts. So we keep going. I really have to fix my FYP. And she claims that her therapist starts using her. This is when we get another character into this. She's got a therapist. She originally had a male therapist, and she's like, but I stopped going to him because he wasn't doing anything for me.
My therapist at the time,
he wasn't listening to me.
He was fine. You know, he wasn't a predator, but he was fine. He just wasn't doing very much for me. And so that therapist retired, and I got a new therapist. She wasn't attracted to him.
And so a lot of netizens, you know, were like, oh, that's a little weird too. Okay. I don't know. It just was weird the way she said it, so netizens were getting confused. And then later she says that she ends up getting this 75-year-old PhD grad older woman therapist. So this is like talk therapy. She's going in there and she's talking about her feelings, and
hopefully
she's
she'll
learning
finally,
these coping mechanisms.
You know,
and she says that she is talking to this therapist, and this therapist is also using her. So basically, like every mental health professional that she's coming across, 75-year-old woman, asinine.
She wants me.
Using her
vile.
How?
Just like getting off on her stories. Just way too interested.
Feeding off her vulnerability.
You got beat before?
Yeah, and just Tell me more. Way too interested in her dating life. You know, loved stories from her dating life, was getting her supply.
She probably picked up on some of her weirdness with the psychiatrist.
Like,
she also was getting supply from me in her own way, but that's for another part.
And a lot of mental health professionals have commented, and they're like, I think she's referring to like a narcissist supply, because like a lot of narcissists will need supply, like they need their fix, right, of attention or certain things psychologically, but it's weird. So she keeps saying supply, and again, everyone's confused with like,
it's traumatizing.
So your psychiatrist is in love with you, you're in love with your psychiatrist, and then your therapist is like getting off on your dating stories, and you are her supply.
I would tell the therapist how obsessed I was with my psychiatrist, and she didn't do anything about it. She just was interested. She also loved stories about my dating life, and
she wanted to figure out why she was doing this without making her feel uncomfortable.
I would feel like if a therapist is interested in your dating life, it's like if I had a giant golf ball sized pimple on my boob, and I walk out of the doctor's office and I go, honey, you don't think it's weird that he was so interested in my boob? And you're like, yeah, you have a fucking golf ball sized pimple on your boob.
What is that?
Maybe something's wrong with your boob.
He's just a weirdo.
He's interested in your boob. Like maybe there's something wrong with her dating life that the therapist is like, maybe we should
look into this. What's your past history?
Like, no, she was obsessed with my dating life, like obsessed, like getting off on it. So I'm like, okay. But I proceed.
Does she not know what any of these people
Kendra
do?
Could be onto something, because maybe we're just not there. And she says that
mailman was too into my mail.
Still, and then she'll go and talk to her therapist about the psychiatrist. And she says, you know, he was just manipulating her vulnerabilities. He would be so cold one second, then so wonderful, and let her in on these little parts of his life and be vulnerable with him. It's giving like, what'd you do this weekend? I went golfing.
Some sessions he'd be warm and kind and wonderful and let me in on little parts of his life and like be vulnerable with me or pretend. Other sessions, he would be cold and clinical and detached. And you know what that did? It made me work harder in our next sessions. It did. And it started the addiction that I had to him. 100%. And he knew exactly what he was doing. This man gives lectures on trauma and attachment theory. He used his psychiatric training to manipulate me and get me hooked. And guess what?
Maybe he was cold because he sensed
so
the weirdness.
In love with her psychiatrist that January of 2024. Okay, so this is when all of the entertaining element of this just like dissipated. Not that it's entertaining to hear about stuff like this, but like you're so captivated because you're like, what is going on? This is where it all goes away. And it becomes just alarming. January of 2024, so last year, Kendra gets hit by a car. a collision with a motor vehicle. She goes to urgent care. She's got bruising on her abdomen. So this is not some like boop boop New York City car keeps inching closer because the pedestrian is crossing when they're not supposed to. Boop boop. It's not that. Kendra was hit by a motor vehicle. She has a perforated eardrum. She's got bruising on her abdomen. And the urgent care provider tells her, you need to go to the emergency room because you could have internal bleeding. Like you could be bleeding on the inside as we speak. You could die, Kendra. This is 11 a.m.
You on prep?
No, you don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this.
Psychiatry appointment at 2 p.m. She's like, you know what? I don't want to miss this appointment because I love my psychiatrist. So I'm going to wait and go to the ER afterwards.
Wow.
She said that she was looking forward to this appointment so much that she was going to risk it all, literally.
In January of 2024, I was hit by a car turning left as I was going through a green light. It was the night before my next appointment with my psychiatrist. And the provider at the urgent care said, I do not feel comfortable treating you. You need to seek emergency care now. You may be internally bleeding. But it was 11 o'clock in the morning and my appointment with my psychiatrist was at 2. So I decided that I was going to wait so I could see my psychiatrist and not have to reschedule because I was looking forward to my appointment with him so much. Crazy. I look back at that time and I'm just like, oh my God, I put my own life under seeing him.
Just take her phone.
I was fully addicted to him at this point.
So this is when she says that she shows up to the appointment and she's like, hey, guess what? I might be bleeding internally. And she says,
and I told him that I may be internally bleeding and he didn't stop the appointment. He didn't say, you need to take care of yourself. Go get emergency care now. He let me continue and just tell him about
he could
how much
tell
I
this
loved
was
him
your
and
choice.
how grateful I was for him. Because that was really what most of our appointments were, is me just like pouring myself out because he was so good at the intermittent reinforcement. Yeah, I got some warmth from him that appointment.
Which, like, this part I was confused by because I guess at face value it is a little weird. But also, I feel like this is how the interaction went. Hey, how are you?
Oh, good. Except I went to urgent care because
I got hit by a car.
I got hit by a car. It was like a tap, and then they thought I was like internally bleeding. But like, yeah, no, it's been insane.
I'll go after.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're okay. That sounds scary. I mean, assuming you're on this call with me,
right?
You must be fine. So let's talk about your
how
meds.
She does
Yeah,
things.
the meds are great. Literally so grateful that you're taking care of me.
Yeah, of course. Like, that's the vibe it gives me.
Yeah.
So what did she say about this? She's saying that she made this crazy sacrifice.
Yeah, and
see him?
he, as a medical
blames
professional,
her.
did
Blames
not
him.
tell her, hey,
it was his fault.
hang up.
He didn't tell me to
Go
leave.
to the ER.
She's an adult.
That is crazy. I mean, how does he even know your medical condition at
So
that
she
moment?
told him that she might be internally bleeding.
Oh.
And so that's why I feel like that doesn't make...
Then why are you here?
Yeah, that's why I assume as like a regular human interaction, you would be inclined to think, well, if you're on the Zoom call with me,
Yeah.
like you just maybe say,
Right.
well, that was crazy. I don't really know what to
Must
say
not
about it, but like you
be
must
that bad.
fine, but like, oh,
Don't look in
hope you're
pain.
okay.
Yeah.
She says, and that's really when he starts just amping up the intimacy in our appointment.
That's
The
when
intimacy.
he really started turning up the intimacy in our appointments. However, he was really smart and knew the professional lines like the back of his hand.
Because it was his job.
He would comment on my appearance, but not compliment my appearance.
What does that even mean? Like,
You look
you're wearing
different
glasses.
today.
And she's like, you know, it was very intimate.
mm.
And he knows what he's
So
doing.
you got a
He's not
haircut.
crossing any professional boundaries because he's too smart
New
for
shoes.
that. She believes that she's not the first victim of his. So she's like, he
All
knows
of his
what he's
patients are
doing.
victims.
And I'm like, you know what? I get it. Like, sometimes it'd be like that. Like, sometimes you read in between the lines of tone and like maybe we're just still not seeing it. And she seems so confident about this. So I'm still kind of with her at this point. I'm like,
I still want to
like maybe
see
he
where
said
she's
it
going.
really creepy. I don't know, right? But she doesn't ever say that. She doesn't say like he said it so creepy.
Or I would come on screen and he would say, oh, you're wearing glasses. And of course I felt seen and
Because he can see you.
excited that he was noticing these things
He can
about
tell
me.
you're wearing
So she's
glasses.
like he's noticing things, which I'm like feels like he's just like maybe an awkward person like me. Like if I'm on a Zoom call, I'm like,
I love your curtains. I like your blinds.
yeah, like I can't have a moment of silence. Like maybe it's that. But she's like, no, this is, and at this point we still have sympathy because I feel like she might not have anyone in her life that makes her feel seen and heard if she
wouldn't
feels
be
that
gravitating
seen by
to
someone
him.
commenting on
Getting us other
her
places.
changing her optical appearance, you know, like putting on glasses.
But okay, so at this point, the internet is already kind of ripping into her, correct?
Yeah, they're like
As they
trolling
should.
her.
Her comments are probably not good.
No, it's
Ooh.
really bad.
Does she ever address the comments?
Yeah, she's just like very angry.
People are
How
asking
dare
me
you.
what my mental health diagnosis is. I do not have BPD. I do not have psychosis. I have ADHD, and I was experiencing extreme limerence with my psychiatrist. You all did some nasty work last night, and I had to turn off
I feel like this is not just
It seems as though
ADHD.
many people view what I'm
Something
going
else
through
going on.
as a crash out, what I'm doing as a mental health spiral.
A lot of people think she might be going through some sort of mental health spiral very publicly. And if it were just that, if someone is just going through a mental health spiral publicly, I don't even think I would make a video on it because that's just kind of weird. But the implications of her whole TikTok series is actually pretty bad. Like the consequences of
She's
her
throwing her own
actions
business out,
really
or what
could
she
be
perceives
very
is going
bad.
on.
Like what she's saying about all these mental health professionals and blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
and so like you can have sympathy for someone if you feel like they are maybe not in the best place mentally, but also at the same time you can point out how what she's saying is so dangerous to other people who are seeking out mental help, and
Yeah, you're kinda
also
scaring people away,
dangerous
especially if it's
to
not
her
true.
psychiatrist in question,
Okay.
and also to the people that watch her videos because she's a coach.
She's a coach.
She's a coach. Okay, so we're just gonna keep going. But at this point, I still have a lot of sympathy for Kendra because I'm like, okay, it seems like she's reading into a lot of these signs, but she keeps going and she says, I didn't realize at this time that he had feelings for me too. So I thought I was holding this all to myself, and I was excited that he noticed my glasses, and I ran and I showed him my other pair of glasses.
Oh my goodness,
So
like
I
a
was
little
so excited
kid.
when he noticed my glasses
Would
that
you
I
like
ran
it?
and showed him my other pair.
Here's another pair.
I prefer turtle shell glasses. So even though I usually wear contacts,
And she's like recording the TikTok. She's like, even though I usually wear contacts, and I'm looking at the screen and I'm like, girl, because she's wearing the turtle shell glasses. And she goes,
I'm wearing these turtle shell glasses in these videos because just in case he sees them ever, he'll see me in his favorite glasses. He did tell me he likes the turtle shell.
Okay, yeah, I saw that one.
yeah.
She's saying that he told me that he likes my glasses.
Yeah.
She's
And that's why I'm
talking
wearing it right now.
crap about him, and like, I
Which
hope he
is
sees this. His
so
favorite
weird.
glasses.
Yeah. She
This is
says
so weird.
it like
Yeah.
it's so normal.
Like, is she still obsessed with him? Is that why
Yeah.
she's still wearing it today?
I genuinely don't know. You know, netizens have theories. Some people think that is the theory. Like she's trying to get his attention on a very public scale. Some people
feel like
think
it's all
this
fake.
is you know how Who the F Did I Marry
I guess
was
it could be
Lisa
real.
Tisa, and then it was Legion.
Uh-huh.
All the netizens are like, I came into this thinking Kendra was Lisa Tisa. Turns out she's Legion. They're like, turns out I'm reading a dark mafia romance, but she's the stalker, and this is not fun because it's not fictional. Like people are like, okay, like this seems unhinged. The glasses, I think, is when everybody started shifting. They're like, ooh, no. Like this is getting weird. At the very least, like maybe you should talk to a therapist, but you're already seeing a therapist, so like, what can we say? So then she's like, he did tell me that he likes the turtle shell. Anyway, it was just like inappropriate things like that. She claims that
So
he diagnosed
inappropriate to
her
say
with
he likes
stress
my
and other
glasses.
trauma-related disorders, but he doesn't tell her immediately about the diagnosis. So she makes it seem like it's like this very sinister thing that he's withholding from her so that he can use this diagnosis to manipulate her and like learn about what her vulnerabilities are. And it doesn't make sense because she straight up asks for her diagnosis and he's like, oh yeah, this is my diagnosis of you. So it doesn't seem like he's hiding it. And I also do believe stress and other trauma-related disorders is so broad. I mean, it's like diagnosing someone with anxiety. It's like, I think
And maybe he wanted
that
to know
if a
more
mental health
before
professional
giving her a
really wants to
diagnosis.
manipulate that, they don't need to diagnose you with it. Like, they'll see it right off the bat. They'll see what's going on. And so at this point, eventually, I mean, she's seeing this man for years. Every month,
4
30-minute
years.
sessions, just 30-minute sessions. And she gets boyfriend. She says she is obsessed with her psychiatrist, but she has this boyfriend. And at first she says that the psychiatrist was not feeling it, that she has a boyfriend. How do we know this? We don't really know this. She doesn't really give us any concrete explanation of like why he's not feeling it. Like maybe he didn't want to talk about her relationship, but again, he's her psychiatrist. He doesn't really want to talk to her about her feelings until he realizes that her boyfriend is like a lot like him. That's what she says. She's like, and then I started talking to my psychiatrist about my sex life, about tracking my cycle, using fertility awareness methods, and my psychiatrist loved it. He didn't ever say, this isn't inappropriate to your care, let's pivot. He just let me talk and talk and talk about my sex life. And I didn't get too deep, but about a year and a half in, okay, side note about this. Some netizens thought that this was really bad. They're like, okay,
Sounds
this
really
is
bad.
the moment where I am on Kendra's side because maybe he is getting off about these
Well, I don't know about that. I think you just let her
conversations.
talk.
However, I will say that a lot of medications impact your sex life, and sex life impacts your mental health.
Yeah.
And it impacts your relationships, even your own self-image issues. And so a lot of, especially like antidepressants, SSRIs, they're going to mess with your sex life. They're going to mess with your sex drive. And a lot of patients, what mental health professionals were saying online is they feel really uncomfortable talking about their sex life. And so doctors will try to encourage it so that you can open up to tell them, hey, these meds are not working and it's ruining my marriage because like I can't get it on. I can't do anything. And now we got another problem because now my marriage is crumbling. I don't know. Like they're saying things like that. Like it's uncomfortable. You want to be open so they don't feel shamed or embarrassed that maybe they're not performing in a certain way like they used to because of the medication. A lot of the psychiatrists are like, this is literally not, it's as common as being like, hey, are you shitting? It's like the same thing. Are you sleeping? Are you shitting? Are you having sex? Yeah. Obviously, if you're of age, functions. Right?
But again, we don't even know what exactly she talked about.
Yeah.
No.
She's just
saying,
very
I'm
generalized.
Talking about my life, but we don't even know what extent.
No, but the extent that she tells us
I'm
is
still
like
functioning
her
in bed.
cycles. Her menstrual cycles, like tracking her cycles.
Yeah, that
sounds very medical. Yeah, that sounds like very medical.
He was really into my cycles.
So I'm making sure my menstrual cycle is still good while I'm on meds. Okay. It's giving that, but she doesn't tell us in depth of much anything. Just that he doesn't stop the conversation. And psychiatrists online are like, of course he doesn't stop the conversation. He needs to know this to provide care. But she's like, that's crazy. You know, he liked this information. And so about a year and a half in of 30, 45-minute sessions a month. I don't know. How long is that in a year? How long is that in a year?
6 hours.
6 hours. Bruh. I think I spent more than 6 hours watching her fucking series, okay? So, like, it's really not a lot of time, especially over the span of a year. So a year and a half in, she starts sending her psychiatrist emails about how much she likes him and how grateful she is. And she would put, like, a bunch of heart emojis.
Whoa.
And she is saying, this is when he should have transferred my care. There is something that is called transference and countertransference. And I did go on Reddit and I was reading a lot of therapists because there's like r/therapists. And they talk about how to deal with patients who have transference. So sometimes patients will come in and they say that it's actually more frequently female patients will come in. And if they have like a male provider, sometimes they will start developing almost like a trauma bond or almost misguided romantic feelings towards the male provider because they finally have someone that's listening to them. And I think it blurs the line of, are they listening to me because my insurance is paying them like $500 an hour? Or are they
really
listening to me because they care about me, right? And like when you're mentally vulnerable, it gets confusing and you feel like, wow, nobody listens to me, but this man is listening to me. And so you might have some sort of transferring emotion there. And the best thing to do is once you notice it, a lot of therapists say it's actually pretty common. And you want to actually use it to help their journey. Like you want to talk about it and like you don't want it to be like this forbidden elephant in the room. It's like, hey, maybe you're feeling these things because maybe you lacked that from your previous relationship.
Try to help her with it.
And these are the things that you are yearning for to find in your personal connect, like things like that. Like you can use it to further someone's journey in their mental health.
This is natural because of what you went through.
But then there's also something called countertransference because people are saying, a lot of medical professionals are saying, hey, clients and therapists are made out of the same thing. We're all human. So sometimes therapists will start feeling very strong emotions towards their patients.
Yeah, and that's what Kendra is saying.
Yes, but from what I saw on r/therapist, it mainly happens with kids. Not in like the weird way, but a lot of therapists will have overwhelming protective instincts towards the kids that like they're in therapy with. They cannot be as clinical because they feel maybe they want to protect the kid. And so it just is like, it's a lot to deal with. And like in those cases, you usually keep the patient. You just have to be better about like, okay, I need to maintain, just not get so emotionally drained and like not let these things.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But then sometimes a lot of therapists are like, hey, sometimes you got some very attractive patients and we're all human and it's okay. Like acknowledge it, talk to your supervisor, transfer them out. Like these are all normal things. Can you imagine
somebody's
like,
really attractive?
That you make a taboo is weird.
None of my therapists
She's
keep
saying
me.
He should have transferred me out. But
even the women
r/therapists are also saying you should not transfer them out immediately. It appears from most psychiatrists' opinion online that Kendra has transference. It doesn't seem like her psychiatrist has countertransference, okay? And so when you realize that your patient has transference, if you immediately transfer them out, it might exacerbate abandonment issues.
Right.
It might make them start questioning, like, is something wrong with me? Like, why did they abandon me? Like, this is someone who's supposed to care about me, but now they don't care about me and nobody cares about me. And then like you could lead to a spiral. A lot of the times you try to work them through it first. And then if it still doesn't work, then I imagine the psychiatrist was probably getting advice from his supervisors and like people that he's working with of like, okay, now how do you go from trying to work them through it? If that doesn't work, slowly getting to the
wean them off.
But then the email that she sent, do we know the context in exact?
Had heart emojis.
Is it more so just, oh, I tell him I like him, thank you, heart.
It seems more like that. Because
so it's not like a wholeheartedly confession letter.
Yeah, that could be true.
She does confess that he's her crush later. So it seems like these emails up until this point are like, I like you, heart. So it's like, I imagine maybe it's also weird for the psychiatrist to overreact and be like, transference. Like, you could just be like,
she
heart emoji, no.
really like me. Like,
or like she just communicates with heart emojis. You know, some
people
are like that.
Yeah.
Some people have more physical touch when they communicate, and it's not like they're hitting on you. It's just like, you know. And so she's saying, she's emailing him. He never emails her back. But she's like, no, hilarious. It's because he doesn't want a paper trail.
Oh.
And I would send my psychiatrist these emails just about how much I liked him and how I was so grateful for him.
One way is what she's saying.
Put in a bunch of heart emojis. And this is really when he should have transferred my care, but you know, he waited. He liked what I gave him too much. And then I start emailing him my fun little emails, but he stops writing me back. He does not write back to my emails anymore.
So he used to.
Because once again, he was really good at plausible deniability. But what he did do is he would take my emails and mention them in session. So he would still give me the attention that I was craving, but only under his structure.
He didn't feel comfortable
under his control.
Responding to her weird emails.
Trail.
And so she's talking to him and she says that he's liking the supply that I'm giving him. And she tells him that my boyfriend doesn't meet my needs. And my psychiatrist and my therapist are both like, you have to stay with your boyfriend. There's nothing wrong with him not meeting your needs.
Even though my boyfriend did not meet my needs, my psychiatrist and my therapist both were like, you have to stay with him. There's nothing wrong with him not meeting your needs.
And this is where netizens are
they
like,
could see
that
everything.
doesn't even make sense. But also like your psychiatrist
stay
and
with your
therapist
boyfriend
are saying it. I don't know. It's weird. So we just have to believe that her psychiatrist and her therapist, independent of each other, are both shady. And we haven't like gotten concrete proof on either of them being shady yet, but they're both shady.
Yeah.
She says she would go to her psychiatrist looking for emotional validation, and he would just drip feed her slowly. Just like
that's not his job.
Little droplets at a time, leave her wanting more. She says wholeheartedly.
And he took an oath to protect me, and he did not. He went right to work exploiting me. Right to work grooming me. Like, and
he was very successful at it.
Like, she is saying this with so much confidence. And again, these are life-altering potential
accusations,
medical malpractice, if not jail time level of accusations.
Does she ever say who he is?
I think
she
could lose their ability
says
to
this
practice.
is where I think people get upset with her. And I think up until this point, a lot of netizens could identify that maybe she's unwell mentally, or maybe this is a cry for help. I don't know. I'm not
we figured that out a while ago.
Psychologist-ing her. I don't know anything, but people had sympathy until she said his name in a video, and then she didn't take it down, and then it was so easy to find him. So people start doxing him because that's what the internet does. And she's like, well,
I accidentally said my psychiatrist's first name
and accidentally
in one of my
didn't
videos.
take it
if
down.
You clocked it, good for you. I do not owe him anonymity.
That's where people start getting mad. And there is a racial element because, I mean, it's a common thing that has happened probably more times than we know of, but it has thrust into the online discourse of what people call white women tears, and we're going to get into it, but it's when white women accuse men of color of being predators without concrete evidence.
Got it.
Or it's not even like she needs concrete evidence. It's not like she has to be like, hey, I have pictures, I have videos, because sometimes you can't get those pieces of evidence. That doesn't mean that people shouldn't believe you, but it's like, even the things she's saying, she's like, he's a predator. He basically told me, oh, you're wearing glasses. So everyone's like, okay, you can't just like accuse anyone of being a predator and then like have their name out there, dox them, ruin their life and nothing. And also, I think a lot of people were upset that she mentioned that he's Pakistani, because it's also like that added nothing to the story. Like, maybe, oh, you didn't say it correctly, but she could have just been vague about it. But it felt ick. So then eventually she says that she does tell her psychiatrist that she has a big crush on him. Okay, now this is big. This seems different from her emails.
I told him, I said, today we're going to talk about my intimate life. My psychologist, my therapist, asked what your opinion on it was. And I told her that I don't talk to you about this intimate stuff because I have a crush on you. And he looked down and smiled so big in that moment. He smiled so big. And I loved it. It's so gross thinking about it.
What if he cringed?
I don't know if
what if it wasn't a smile? It was just
I don't know if this is true. He could be a nervous smiler too. And she says he smiled so big and I loved it. And she's like, this is so gross thinking about it. And then
how much longer we got?
30 minutes of nonstop content about my intimate life with my boyfriend. And I actually recorded the whole thing because I was so excited about it. But now it makes me sick. And so she does share this recording, I believe, at one point, but then it gets taken down because it's a violation or something like that. I'm not even going to look for that because I think that's crazy. But I have a feeling it's not crazy. But she's saying it's crazy. She's saying he can't even sue me for defamation because I have this recording.
And I actually recorded the whole thing because I was so excited about it. But now it makes me sick. I can't even listen to the recording. Any ethical psychiatrist would have stopped me and said, Kendra, let's talk about your meds. Let's talk about your care. Felt so excited and nervous to share that with him because I had such a big crush on him at the time. And I recorded all
so she could watch it
minutes.
over and over again.
My psychiatrist wants to come with me and like,
stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do
this. You don't want to hear this. Skip.
3-minute recording of me admitting I have a crush on him and speaking about extremely intimate details. It was in that moment that he really, really should have transferred my care. That moment changed everything for him too.
What if he wasn't doing well? Like, he really needed patience.
Really
he really wanted to transfer
between us.
Wait, that's really confusing. She basically confesses her love to him and then proceeds to tell him about her intimate life with her current partner?
Yeah, I think maybe she's trying to say, like, I just think about you all the time.
Oh, like even when I'm with my partner, blah, blah, blah.
And
oh my goodness.
I mean, she is saying that she monologued for like 30 minutes and he doesn't stop her. But again, you're not talking to like a random dude on the street. You're talking to a psychiatrist who's probably running through 50 million possibilities in his mind of how to help you in that situation. Right. And I think the last thing is probably like, hey, so zip it, hang up. Like, that's probably not what he's going to do. And so she says that she recorded it, which a lot of people are like, hey, if you recorded it and this is actually real, then you need to file medical malpractice, because if this is a real predator, then we need him not practicing.
Yeah.
But that's not happening. And I mean, it doesn't seem like it's happening. And
so she hasn't done anything legally.
It just seems like there's nothing on the 30-minute.
I mean, not everybody wants to report things.
I don't know. And like, I know people are gonna, some people, a very small group of people are gonna be frustrated that I'm giving this man so much benefit of the doubt. But like, truly, we haven't seen.
We're just seeing one side.
Yeah.
And these are big
far,
the things that she's saying,
like, if she has anything legitimate,
yeah,
everyone will be literally on her side.
Yeah.
You know, these are literally like the true crime stories we hear about, like predators. But she hasn't given people any legitimate things to worry about.
Yes. Like nothing.
You worried if they
like
everything
she says, she spins it kind of in like a twisted way, but a lot of people are saying, oh, that seems very normal. That seems like he's doing a professional job at trying to help you. Also, a lot of netizen comments are like, God, can't believe I'm defending a man. But like, same girly pop.
Okay, I was gonna be on your side, right? But you're really out there,
comment that was
and I'm gonna have to be on the other team this time.
And like, normally I really hate these comparisons of like, well, if it were a female victim or a male victim, and like people like to compare, and it's like, hey, I think generally across the board, all victims don't get justice more than most of the time. You know, I feel like all victims have it like like it doesn't need to be a gender competition of like whose victimhood is. It's like it's bad everywhere. Okay, but some people are saying if this was a male patient,
I was thinking that before.
Like
it sounds
like a male patient saying these things about a female psychiatrist. And like exhibiting these types of behaviors, a lot of people would be quick to use the word stalker, but because she's a woman, a lot of people are kind of holding off on the stalker.
I don't know if the psychiatrist would say that.
But it is kind of stalker-ish is what people are saying. And
I'm
so
sure
she's
it
still
happens a lot to
going
female
every
psychiatrists.
single
It must have a
month, and
method.
she's telling him about this crush, and she goes on a 30-minute monologue, and he just smiles and nothing. And then she says, and I want to address a few things.
Felt really uncomfortable.
And she says, one, people are asking me about mental health diagnosis. I do not have BPD. She says, I do not have psychosis. I have ADHD. And I was experiencing extreme limerence with my psychiatrist. Limerence is a normal thing to happen to anyone who is experiencing hot and cold behavior from someone. And it happens more often in people with ADHD because I have dopamine dysregulation and rejection-sensitive dysphoria. And guess what? My psychiatrist knew that and used it to his advantage. And she's like mad. She's mad at the netizens.
And guess what? My psychiatrist knew that and used it to his advantage.
Okay.
And she also mentions, okay, people are doxing him. She's like, can stop doxing him. I'm going to delete your comment if you dox him. However, if you email me or DM me, I'll be more open to it. So she's like, I'll privately dox him for you. And she's like, I don't owe him anonymity. However, this is not about doxing my psychiatrist, which makes the whole situation messier because now this psychiatrist's entire career, could be in jeopardy. Like, that's crazy, right? But she's like, this is not about doxing him. This is about my story.
This is not about doxing my psychiatrist. This is about me sharing my story so other people can view predatory behavior in people in power.
But if you claim to be a victim, then you should seek justice. File something.
I wouldn't ever push.
Or she's saying that there's no way
go
of
through
doing
the courts and everything
because there's no
re-traumatizing.
evidence. But I know what he did.
But I don't believe her.
Right?
Yeah. But then, the way she's like, here's the subtext, read between the lines of everything he did. A lot of netizens are having a hard time
We have to read a whole book between the lines.
And then a lot of psychiatrists are like, actually, that seems like by the book of what we're supposed to do in situations like this.
Yeah.
So it's very tricky. It's just very weird. And this guy is getting doxxed everywhere. And I did notice something. I'm not going to put a picture anywhere. That's crazy. But he was in his very professional headshot wearing tortoise shell glasses. She called them turtle shell. Tortoise shell glasses.
Uh-huh.
And so
what if she saw those and then decided to buy some?
It is kind of weird that he was like, oh, I like tortoise shell glasses. And then she wore him. I didn't think it was that weird, but I guess it popped up. And then when I saw the picture, I was like,
she said it.
Oh. He literally is wearing them. So he might have just been like, oh yeah, I like these. Like, I like this pattern. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a cool pattern. Whatever.
It just makes it creepier
So I'm wearing it.
to think about
you got
her.
one too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool, we're matching. Haha. Yeah, these are cool. I feel like they're more fun of a pattern than like the regular metal frame ones. Haha. Anyway, are you shitting? Like, that's what it gave me when I saw that picture. I was like, oh. She does get very upset at these netizens.
I think she copied those glasses.
It is so incredibly disturbing to me. The amount of people that are predator protectors in my comments, that are victim blaming me, especially the mental health practitioner.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I think we're gonna take a break. This is crazy and this is long. Oh my goodness. So we'll get back to it next time and I think we'll finish it.